guys, it's Miss Taylor with week 2 of garden lessons. This week we're going to be having another garden story time where we'll be reading the book The Turnip by Jan Brett, and we'll also be talking about plant parts. Anyone know what the 5 main parts of the plant are? I want you to think about it, and we'll dive into more of that later. Today we're going to be reading the book called The Turnip. The Turnip by Jan Brett. Badger Girl was weeding the vegetable patch when she saw something strange growing in the garden. It was the biggest turnip she had ever seen. "Turnip soup, turnip pie," Badger Girl said. "How delicious." One autumn morning the air turned chilly. It was time to pick the vegetables and pull up the giant turnip. But when Badger Girl got to the giant turnip, she could not pull it up. "Let me help," Badger Boy offered. "Hang on to me and my strong arms will pull it right out." They tugged and tugged, but the turnip stayed in place. "Children," Mother Badger called, "I can wrench that turnip out with a twist and a snap. Watch and learn." But the turnip remained firmly rooted. Father Badger ambled over. "You'll see how easy it is when I take over," he chortled. Nothing happened. A snowflake fell from the sky, then another and another. Once the earth froze, they wouldn't get the turnip out until spring. Hedgie was fond of roast turnip. "I know what to do," he said. "I'll stick my prickles into the turnip. We'll all hold hands and give it a heave-ho." But the turnip didn't heave or ho. Mr. Ram, on his way back to town, smiled smugly. "You country bumpkins don't have the right equipment. I'll hook it with my horns." Pull, pull, pull. The turnip didn't budge. Vanya the horse stopped by. "I'm mighty strong," he whinnied. "Hitch my harness to that turnip, and we'll be eating it mashed and salted before it gets dark." The harness jangled, but when all was settled, the giant turnip was still in the ground. A cocky little rooster had been watching all along. He had just had a close call with the cooking pot and was looking for a new place to live. Rooster strutted over. "Make room," he crowed. He took the turnip top in his beak and pulled. Down in their winter den, the bears found the giant turnip in their bed. "Up, up, and away," they shouted. The turnip flew out of the ground, with Rooster riding high. "Time for turnip pancakes, browned and butter for all," Mother Badger sang out, waving her frying pan. Badger Girl put out their best yellow chair for Rooster. Soon the sizzling, crispy turnip pancakes were ready. "Rooster, you're invited to stay with us as long as you wish," Father Badger announced. "After all, when would we ever meet such a useful fella again?" Like I mentioned earlier, today we are going to be talking about the plant parts and the 5 main parts of a plant. The first part of the plant is the seed. The seed stores all the energy that it needs in order for it to grow and pop out of the soil. The second part of the plant is the root. And I actually have a vegetable that you might recognize from our story that you can see the root popping out of the ground. Let's see if you can recognize it. So if you recognize it from our book, you will know that it is a purple top turnip. And the part sticking out of the ground, right here, this purple part, is the root of the turnip. Now the root helps anchor it and keeps the plant stable, as well as bring nutrients to the stem and the leaves of the plant. The cool thing about turnips is that we actually eat the root. So if I pull this out of the ground, you can chop up the purple turnip and saute it or eat it raw with a salad. The next vegetable we have growing in our garden is kale. And kale, its roots are underground, you can't really see them, but you can see the leaves, which is the third part of a plant, and the part that we eat of the kale leaves. And the leaves help absorb the sun rays and capture them so that it can make food for the plant. So we don't, plants don't eat food 3 times a day like we do. They don't eat cereal or PB&Js or pizza to get big and strong. They actually capture the sun's light and use its energy to make its own source of food. So that's what the leaves of a plant do and why they're so important. Our next vegetable that I have found in our garden is a broccoli plant. On this broccoli plant, just like the kale, the roots are underneath in the soil in the ground and you can't really see them, but you can see its stem, which helps hold up the plant nice and strong and helps support the plant. And then you can see the leaves, kind of like what we saw on the turnip and the kale. And then you can even spy these little broccoli florets. Some of them have not bloomed, they're just kind of the little buds of the flower. But at the top, you can see we've had some warm weather days this winter, and the broccoli is starting to flower. Flower is the 5th part of a plant. So we have our roots, which are underground, which help stabilize the plant and help get water and nutrients to its leaves. We have the leaves, which help capture the sunlight to create food for the plant. We have the stem, which helps it stand nice and strong. And now we have the flower, which helps attract pollinators, which then allow the plant to create seeds.